Hi everybody. So we're actually here in my room because the porch, the heater vent in there, I don't know if it's just not big enough, but it doesn't get a lot of the heat into the porch. So it's a little bit more chillier than I would want it to be to do anything when it comes to videos. But some major developments have come around recently, even as of yesterday. Um, Definitely some of the stuff from the world news with all the Russia gearing up for their nukes to be shot out, um, the battle between Israel and Hezbollah and Iran and all that ramping up even more every single day. um, though I still want to address to people that the this isn't World War III as people want to believe it to be. For one thing, there's actually a very specific conditions for a world war, and I looked it up one day because I mean this was like years ago. I can't remember what they are, but there's very specific conditions to be for to be considered a world war, not just some people having a little spat here and there. But at the same time, we gotta always look at what we have going on and match it to what's going on in the Bible, and to kind of see where we're at with it. A lot of people aren't doing that. They're just going with the headlines. Oh, it's World War III. We've been in World War III for the last month or so. No, we haven't been in World War III for the last month or so. Um, because if you look at what's in the past of World War I and World War II, especially in history class, if you look at that, um, it was almost immediate on everything that was happening. Um, when we kind of got shot into it. At World War II, we weren't even into World War II until Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. And that was months, I think, if not years into it. Um, but here right now, it's not World War III because they're still kind of riding the coattails of Israel and Iran and Hamas and the what is it, Russia and Ukraine war. Now, those have been going on. I think they said Russia and Ukraine are now in their 1,000 some day of battle, and that's a little over 3 years. So it's not considered a world war back then. So why would it be considered a world war now? That doesn't make any sense because these are two separate wars. They're not half the world versus half the other half of the world. This is, you know, it's just not what it is. But to look at the headlines, you got to also understand that the Bible in itself, and I've said this in other videos, World War III doesn't happen until the Red Horse rides. And that doesn't happen until after the Antichrist comes to power all over the world. He hasn't done that yet. He hasn't even come onto the scene yet. So, with as close as it looks, yeah, I mean, imagine how much closer we are to the pre-tribulation rapture. That's amazing. And I love that. Because I think it kind of has to get to a point where when we look at what's happening, just even personal things, like for me, in my own life, family hasn't ever been there. Now, a lot of people can say the same thing, but the deal is that I've watched my family. Um, I'm adopted into this family. I've watched this family for years. Kind of feel bad for people in the family who um, put themselves into horrible situations. And then they throw thousands upon thousands of dollars at them to help them get out of these horrible situations with very, very little in return or thanks for it. Now, as Christians, we shouldn't be doing these things to get anything in return, period. That's not what the Bible says. We are always to do good and never grow weary in doing good. And with a conversation with my mom last night, I truly understood the fact that my family um, wasn't ever going to help me with the problems that I'm facing. But hold on a second. Let me pause this quick. All right. So let's go into Psalm 27. Let me find it here. Because there's something about Psalm 27 that's very, very telling about um, how our faith in God and trust in Him is 100% vital, and how really we can only trust in God when it comes to what happens in life. So I'll go ahead and read Psalm 27, the entire thing. And I've actually double bracketed one area here that I'll read as well. So Psalm 27 is this: The Lord is my light and my salvation, so why should I be afraid? The Lord is my fortress, protecting me from danger, so why should I tremble? When evil people come to devour me, when my enemies and foes attack me, they will stumble and fall. Though a mighty army surround me, my heart will not be afraid. Even if I am attacked, I will remain confident. The one thing I ask of the Lord, the thing I seek most, is to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, delighting, delighting in the Lord's perfections and meditating in his temple. For he will conceal me there when trouble comes. He will hide me in his sanctuary. He will place me out of the reach on a high rock. Then I will hold my head high above my enemies who surround me. At his sanctuary I will offer sacrifices with shouts of joy, singing and praising the Lord with music. Hear me as I pray, O Lord. Be merciful and answer me. My heart has heard you say, "Come and talk with me." And my heart responds, "Lord, I am coming." Do not turn your back on me. Do not reject your servant in anger. You have always been my helper. Don't leave me now. Don't abandon me, O God of my salvation. Even if my father and mother abandon me, the Lord will hold me close. Teach me how to live, O Lord. Lead me along the right path, for my enemies are waiting for me. Do not let me fall into their hands, for they accuse me of things I've never done. With every breath they threaten me with violence, yet I am confident I will see the Lord's goodness while I am here in the land of the living. Wait patiently for the Lord. Be brave and courageous. Yes, wait patiently for the Lord. And what I had double bracketed on there is the wait patiently for the Lord. Be brave and courageous. Yes, wait patiently for the Lord. Um, the last 2 years have been a renewing of my faith in God. And with everything that's happening in today's world, with all the wars and everything that has been predicted here in the Bible, I will tell you what, I do not have a problem saying that I don't need people in my life to help me, because I have found so often that people are very, very unreliable. Now, it's not to say that I hate people. Absolutely do not. I absolutely love the people that I work with. I love my job. I love doing the acting and modeling when I have those. Um, it's just the fact that if somebody is going to help me out of everything, it will be God. And the Bible has never ever once mentioned that God will answer your prayers immediately. And why I've double bracketed that is because there are things that have happened in my life that I've had to wait for. There was a video that I saw not that long ago, and it talked about the sacrifices that we are meant to do for God. And some people think a sacrifice is, oh, well, I don't eat for a day or I fast or whatever it is. And that's a good enough sacrifice. Well, I mean, that leads to, a different type of thing, but it's not sacrifices that are pleasing to God because we don't really have to make sacrifices. But if God calls us to sacrifice certain things in our life, He's doing that because we ourselves, He probably says, if you're making a sacrifice here, it's because this thing that I'm having you sacrifice is kind of becoming a toxic part of your life. And to cut that out, you're going to have a better chance of being able to talk to me and live for me. If you cut that out, you can live for me better. Because He doesn't want any of us to live in this toxic world full of enemies, full of things that are coming at us all the time, but we allow it because we want to think that, oh, well, I got to be nice. I've got to be, humble. I got to do these things. God's like, well, hold on a second here. I don't want you to have to be nice and humble to things that are never, ever going to benefit you and are never, ever going to benefit you to benefit the Lord. And with my family, I think I've actually had to sacrifice connection to my family. Now, granted, like I said, I'm adopted into the family, but I don't believe that I'm meant to have connection with them anymore. At least on this life, on this planet. After the rapture, when we get into heaven, I'll meet Him again. Everybody will be renewed, and it'll be much better because we'll all be under the leadership of Jesus, which is a lot better. But I think my family has lived in a life of complacency because they've never wanted to help me. And with some remarks and comments that I had yesterday, it's very prevalent that if I am to have faith in God, I need to have patience and faith in Him with everything that's happening here. And faith is very, 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 very difficult to go along with because you have to understand that God will not come when you call, but He is always on time. And I myself, for the longest time, were like, oh, well, if I tithe money to this, what am I, am I going to get it back? What am I going to be doing? And I had seen some other videos explaining how tithing works. And I'm like, I don't think tithing in itself is an act of, what do they call it? Is an act of receiving. Like people, I was growing up to believe that when you tithe, you get benefits back in your life. And I was growing to believe that tithing meant like, oh, if you give 10% of your money to God, He's going to give you 100 times more money. And it was always about money. Well, I find out as I grew older that that's kind of how my family was. It was always about money. And that it was never about the help. It was never about, oh, well, I got this money, let me help this person here. So unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where, yeah, they only care about them and their money. Now, I'm not saying this to blast my family. I'm not saying that my family's horrible. I just believe that over time, they actually end up getting misled and misinterpreting everything going on. But I can't save them. I can't convince them otherwise. It's not going to happen that way. I have to pray that God changes their hearts, transforms them from that. I have to pray that God will do the same for me in these times of need that I am in. And yes, it's very financial. It's very financial hardships that I'm going through. But this is why I pray every time that God is always with everybody that is going through the same things I'm going through. And that He will be the only one that will be like, yeah, you know what? Everybody, come to me. I will get you out of this. And I pray that God does present me with things that will get me out of this, or What, if he says, hey, the rapture's going to be here soon, just have a little bit of patience and you won't have to worry about this. I pray that, for the peace that passes all understanding, over all these things, that I don't stress out at all over this stuff. And God has seen that. And I pray every single time that he does. And I can only have faith in him. I can only have faith in him. Not that God can't place people in my life to help me out, and I can accept that, but I would always give glory and praise and the credit to God, thanking the person involved, but only giving credit to God, because God is the one who is doing all the work. So when it comes to how we look at these last seconds of the end days, um, yeah, we please understand that the hardships aren't going to end. Like, that's kind of part of our contract here, is that we have hardships, and we are going to be persecuted by people. People are going to mock us. People are going to accuse us of things that we've never done. But we trust God. We look at him. So let me go ahead and say a prayer, and then another short video, and we'll be off. So Lord, thank you for giving me the courage every day. Every day I wake up, um, give me the courage to continue on with what I need to say, do, and all that. Thank you for presenting me opportunities as they come day by day. I never know what you're going to do, Lord. And thank you for kind of changing the channel to encouraging words for people in these last days. And when the rapture happens, we are going to we're going to be absolutely excited to see your face, Lord. And I pray that those who are struggling financially, Lord, it is a season where the commercials are just ramping up. Hey, you need to have the best here, to have the best Christmas, to have all these old memories. But Lord, you know the struggles people are having financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. It is hard on everybody, and no one understands that but you, Lord. And I really hope that maybe I can be a beacon to these people to say, look, financially struggling, definitely over here. Definitely over here. But I have faith that you will work in the hearts of people, Lord, that you will bring more people to you, that they will accept that free gift of salvation, Lord, to admit that they are a sinner, that they need Jesus, who had died, was buried, and 3 days later rose from the dead, to acknowledge that his blood was shed for the world to forgive past, present, and future sins, that their sins will be no longer attributed to them. Lord, impress upon people to accept that in these last seconds before you take us up. I pray that those who are on the fence see how dire the world is getting, and that, yes, we need you more than ever. We need you all the time. I pray this in your holy name. Amen. Well, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Keep in prayers. Keep talking with God. Keep talking with him. I urge you to keep talking with God. He wants to hear from you. He wants to be there for you. And have faith. Be patient. Please be patient. He will do amazing things in your life. But we have to be patient. All right? I'll see you later. Bye.